The Uberization of Everything, Platform Logic in Daily Life. Introduction, From App to Infrastructure. What began as a disruptive innovation in urban transportation has evolved into a broader reconfiguration of economic and social life. The term Uberization now refers not only to the rise of ride-sharing platforms like Uber, but more broadly to the infiltration of platform-based models into an array of industries and everyday practices. It describes a shift from traditional service provision to on-demand, app-mediated interactions governed by algorithms, ratings, and flexible labor. The Uberization of everything signals a transformation in how work is organized, services are accessed, and value is created and extracted in contemporary life. The platform as intermediary and infrastructure. At the core of Uberization lies the platform logic, digital intermediaries that facilitate exchanges between users and providers. These platforms are not passive tools, but active organizers of behavior. They structure interactions through algorithmic decision-making, set the terms of access and payment, and gather vast amounts of user data. In doing so, platforms assume infrastructural roles once held by institutions or physical systems. Whether ordering food, booking a cleaner, or hiring a freelance designer, individuals increasingly navigate daily life through platform-mediated exchanges. This logic of intermediation reconfigures the boundaries between public and private, employer and worker, consumer and citizen. Flexibility, precarity, and the myth of empowerment. Modern work environments are often celebrated for their flexibility. Freelance gigs, remote work, and on-demand schedules are portrayed as forms of liberation from the rigid 9-to-5 model. But beneath this apparent freedom lies a more precarious reality. Flexibility, while attractive on the surface, can mask deeper insecurities such as job instability, lack of benefits, and constant pressure to remain available. What's frequently marketed as empowerment is, in many cases, a myth, one that shifts risk and responsibility from employers to workers. By exploring the dynamics of both flexibility and precarity, we can better understand how modern labor practices blur the line between autonomy and exploitation. A defining feature of Uberized systems is their emphasis on flexibility for both users and service providers. While consumers enjoy convenience and real-time access, the workers powering these platforms often face heightened insecurity. Promises of autonomy and entrepreneurship mask a reality of algorithmic control, income volatility, and lack of labor protections. Drivers, couriers, and freelancers are rebranded as partners or independent contractors, excluding them from the rights associated with formal employment. In effect, the Uberization of work promotes a model of precarity wrapped in the language of empowerment. The datafication of everyday life. In today's digital world, data collection has become seamlessly integrated into our daily activities. From the moment we unlock our phones to the way we move through cities or interact online, personal data is constantly being tracked, stored, and analyzed. This data is often used to generate insights about behavior, preferences, and routines, sometimes to enhance user experience, but also to drive commercial and surveillance agendas. While these practices can offer convenience and personalization, they raise serious concerns about privacy and autonomy. As individuals lose control over how their data is used, questions emerge about who truly benefits from this constant monitoring and what it means to live in a world where being observed is the norm rather than the exception. Platforms rely on the constant collection, analysis, and monetization of user data. Every interaction becomes a data point, contributing to the optimization of algorithms and the personalization of services. Ratings and reviews, geolocation, usage patterns, and payment histories all feed into the platform's logic of surveillance and prediction. This datafication extends platform influence beyond the immediate transaction, shaping not only recommendations and pricing, but also reputations and opportunities. In an Uberized world, one's algorithmic profile can determine access to future gigs, credit, or even housing. Blurring of consumption and labor. In today's digital economy, the line between consumption and labor is increasingly blurred. People are no longer just consumers. They also produce content, data, and value for companies, often without formal recognition or compensation. This shift has led to the rise of the prosumer, someone who both produces and consumes through everyday activities like posting, reviewing, or interacting with platforms. The gig economy extends this dynamic by offering flexible, on demand work that mimics the convenience of consumer choice. While these arrangements promise autonomy, they often lack stability, benefits, and long term security. Both prosumption and gig work reflect a deeper shift in which individuals shoulder more responsibility and risk, often under the illusion of empowerment and freedom. Uberization also collapses the distinction between consumption and labor. Users are invited to rate, review, and self optimize, engaging in what some scholars term prosumption, the fusion of producer and consumer roles. At the same time, labor is often performed in domestic or informal spaces, blurring the lines between work and life. For example, renting a spare room through Airbnb or delivering groceries via an app can be seamlessly integrated into daily routines. This normalization of micro-labor fragments traditional work patterns and erodes collective forms of labor solidarity. Expanding into new sectors. The expansion into new sectors is a hallmark of the Uberization trend, where platform-based business models are applied beyond their original markets. What began with ride-hailing has evolved into food delivery, logistics, healthcare, home services, and more, each transformed by the same underlying principles: on-demand access, flexible labor, and digital intermediation. This model allows companies to scale rapidly by entering diverse markets without owning physical infrastructure or employing traditional workforces. However, such expansion often raises questions about regulation, labor rights, and the sustainability of these models. As firms Uberize new sectors, they bring both innovation and disruption, reshaping industries while challenging existing norms around work, service, and value creation. The Uberization model has extended well beyond transportation. Healthcare, with apps offering remote consultations, education, on-demand tutoring, and even legal services are now subject to platform-based organization. Each of these sectors brings unique ethical, regulatory, and social challenges. For example, in education, algorithmic matching may prioritize efficiency over pedagogical quality. In healthcare, patient privacy and continuity of care may be compromised by gig-style arrangements. As the logic of platforms expands, so too do questions about accountability, fairness, and public value. Conclusion: navigating platform society. The Uberization of everything is not merely a technological trend, it is a societal transformation rooted in specific ideologies of efficiency, entrepreneurship, and data-driven optimization. It reshapes how people work, consume, interact, and understand value. While platforms offer undeniable conveniences, they also pose risks to labor security, data privacy, and social cohesion. As platform logic becomes embedded in daily life, there is a pressing need for critical engagement, public regulation, and alternative models that center equity, transparency, and human dignity. Stay tuned for more insights into business and the social sciences. If you found this overview helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on future topics you'd like us to cover. I'm Dr. Dag, wishing you a fantastic day ahead.